All right. And what's up? Thank you, Jessica, for the heart me. Appreciate it. One thing I didn't do is check my levels. Hold on a second. There we go. I think that's a little better. All right. Let's see. Is everything working right? No. Yes, it is. Okay. Wasn't sure there for a second. All right. Okay, here we go. So I've I've got a song queued up. Nice old song. I love rock and roll. Maybe that's because I was raised amongst white children for a significant portion. Thankfully, my formative years was in a multiracial environment. Like I grew up in Washington Heights, and then for 2 years, from 7 to 9, in Elmhurst, Queens, and they were basically the same as far as racial diversity. But then, unfortunately, I was kidnapped and moved to an all-white teen neighborhood where I went to school for 4th, 5th, 6th grade and above, and all through junior high school and high school. So that, I assume, is where my appreciation for rock came from, because before that, it was not so much rock. It was a lot of, Dominican music, salsa, bachata, all that good stuff. But hey, that's ancient history now. But I love R&B, I love rap, and I love rock. I feel like Ron Burgundy. I love scotch. Oh, all right. Well, now that all that silliness is out of my system, it is Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. And I want to thank everybody yesterday for not saying "May the 4th be with you." I really appreciate that. I was assuming someone was going to say that, and I'd have to lose my shit. No, I just think it's goofy. But, today is Cinco de Mayo, which, despite the fact that some pale faces think it's a made-up holiday, it is not. It's a real thing. But anyway, all right. So all of that because I said something about rock. Crazy shit. Anyway, here's the rock song I wanted to play. I used to listen to radio for a big part of my day, 10 to 12 hours. And I don't think I ever heard this song on the radio, but it is a big song. Came around during the Ziggy Stardust phase of David Bowie's career. It's a song called Moon Age Daydream. And what's really cool is that during this phase of his career, he had a guitarist named Mick Ronson. And he's a big reason for the sound that Bowie had. His guitar is deep in the mix for most of the song, but at the end, we get to hear a little bit of his style. So let's check out Moon Age Daydream together, shall we? Like you have a choice.
I'm an alligator. I'm a mama, papa coming for you. I'm a space invader. I'll be a rock and rollin' bitch for you. Keep your mouth shut. Just squawking like a big monkey bird. And I'm busting up a brain for the world. Keep your electric eye on me, baby. With your ray guns
That chord progression is sublime. I want to stop myself from saying this, but I can't. They just don't make music like this anymore. And that is a literal, scientifically proven fact. Okay, that arrangement that you just heard is nowhere to be found these days. And I don't mean that specific arrangement. I mean that type of arrangement. The layers, the chord changes. Oh my God. Oh, so goddamn good. I feel bad for people that are teenagers now listening to the absolute shit that's on the radio most of the time or on whatever platform they're listening to. God, just awful, awful, awful. Fucking, what do you call, manipulating the voice, the melodyne in the studio. Like someone earlier suggested to me that I listened to Sleep Token and Youngblood. And it's funny because the post that I made that they were commenting on was using a Sleep Token song in the background. But fuck Youngblood. I've heard him sing live. It was completely off key. And that was at Ozzy's tribute. He sounded bad. Sorry, folks. He sounded bad. And he's not a good singer. I mean, good for him that he's popular and he's got a career. I don't begrudge that. But I want a singer who can sing. When I listen to music, I want a singer who can fucking sing. Okay? Simple as that. Anyway, before I start bringing people up, I want to talk about something because this is something that I've been talking about for years. And today I was handed the best example that I've ever seen of what I'm on about. So, I've said for years and years now that it makes no sense to exclusively interview winners. And I came to this conclusion because of a psychological concept known as survivorship bias. And survivorship bias, basically, if you want to put it in a nutshell, it's the idea that winners don't always know why they win, but they're always happy to tell you why, even if they have to make shit up. So there's a great experiment that I've seen a few times, but the first one I saw a long time ago, probably 15 years ago, and it was to illustrate survivorship bias. So they had these two guys playing a board game, and one guy, they explained all of the rules ahead of time to him. They told him ways to kind of manipulate the outcome of the game. Hey, Danny's here. What's up, Danny? Thank you for joining. Good to see you as always. And they told him that he had all the advantages, which was true. The way they set up the game, this guy had all the advantages, and he knew this going into the game. He played the game, he won the game, and when they asked him why he won, he said, I played better than he did, right? That's a little, very simplified example of survivorship bias. But another one I think is like, let's say someone works really hard at building a business. And we know what that means. That means time away from your family, putting your head down, working as hard as you can, putting out fires, innovating, striving, never losing sight of your goal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a hard thing to do. I was independent for many years, and it was a very hard lifestyle. I was working 12, 14 hours a day regularly, and sometimes it went up to 20 hours, where I just got 4 hours of sleep and then did it all again. And now, I didn't succeed. However, if you put a mic in someone's face after they finally emerge from all that drudgery and all that hard work and finally have some breathing space, some breathing room, and you say, how'd you do it? They're probably not going to know. Not in a very profound way. Like they know they worked hard, but they can't just tell that story, right? They can't just go, Well, I worked hard and I succeeded. That's not going to sell a book. That's not. So what they do is they backfill. They sort of make up a mythology about their experience. We've seen it time and time again, right? Now, ironically, in our society, we've heard that you learn more from losing than you do winning. You learn more from failure than you do from success. And yet, no one goes up to the loser afterwards and asks the question, what did you learn from this loss? You know, what lessons have you gleaned that you can move forward with? Thank you, Danny, for clearing out my roses goal. I appreciate that. So here's the example that I heard today, and it's a brilliant one. It's a man named Abraham Wald, W-A-L-D, who passed away in 1950, December 1950. Lucky for Americans, he was a brilliant guy, engineering and mathematics and all this kind of stuff, statistics, and he played a big role in WW2. So what happened is that planes would come back from engaging in battle, and they would be riddled with bullets, but these planes arrived safely. The pilots and the crew survived, right? And what the military did was that they laid out basically an illustration. They drew a plane from the top looking down and the nose pointing forward. So you have the nose pointing forward, the wings out to the sides, and the tail in the back. And they put red dots along all the areas where the planes were hit, right? So mostly on the wings and a little bit on the tail, but there were sections that were not hit. So the military said, okay, what we need to do is put armor where we see all the bullet holes. And by the way, the other thing they did is they interviewed the pilots. What did you do to survive this? Right? So the pilots are going to say, hey, well, it was just first class flying, you know. But what Abraham Wald did, because he was a brilliant man, he said, no. We have to put the armor where the bullets are not, because that's where the bullets hit on the planes that didn't make it back. And that changed everything. And that is a great example of survivorship bias when it meets a brilliant thinker. So with that, let's get the party started. Let's bring up Danny. Let's bring up Jessica. If it will only let me, there you go. All right, I've sent those 2 invitations out. Danny's on board. What's up, Danny? How you doing?
All right, I'm kind of foggy. I just woke up from a nap in the chair.
Because some asshole texted you a few minutes ago.
I know, I saw that. Just before I came on, I had to go through my text. Matter of fact, I missed a lot of shit on my phone. I was shocked.
Hey, listen.
But
when you got to sleep, man.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I had a doctor's appointment today, this afternoon, and then Carol and I went to get something to eat at our favorite pizza parlor here in town. And I came home and it was like lights out, the party's over.
Oh yeah, you had all that L-tryptophan going through you from the cheese.
Oh yeah, so
What'd you have at the pizza place, by the way?
We do the meat lovers there at the pizza place at Dirty Dave's Pizza Power.
Dirty Dave's does not sound Italian, but all right.
No, it's not. Trust me, I know Italian. since I used to live over there.
Dirty
But
Dave's Meat Lovers Pizza.
that's right. That's
I
right.
would
Good
really
stuff.
never go there.
It's good stuff. What
Where
can I
does
say?
Dirty Dave get his flavor from?
A brick fireplace type stove that
Yeah,
Uh,
that's in the pamphlet. Fuck that noise. Anyway, Jessica, how you doing?
Well, I would really, really like a cigarette and a voodoo doll, but I'm trying to be the better version of me, so I'm settling for a cup of tea and bitching on TikTok.
There you go. That works.
don't get me started.
Yeah. So, what went on between yesterday and today that has raised your ire?
Oh, go ahead, Jessica. I thought you was
No,
asking
No,
me.
I was
Go
asking
ahead.
No,
Jessica because
you
she's
go right ahead.
exasperated.
Oh yeah, she's sounding fired up. I want to hear this.
Well, I watched the Marco Rubio address. For
Oh
one.
Lord, why?
I don't know. I'm a fucking masochist, apparently.
Yeah, you might be.
Well, it was going to be over, the war in Iran, so I was like, all right, let's see what these fuckwads have to say about it. And I just regret every second of that decision. I was just enraged by the entire thing. I've been also following all of the, special, like, the primaries and stuff that have been going on right now. Indiana's fucked. That's a whole other story. Yeah, it's just, things are not looking great, guys. It's not. It's not looking good.
Now, Indiana,
But,
that's the state where they disputed the redistricting, or
Yes.
okay.
So,
what's the update on that?
So they're having their primaries, and there were 2 Republican senators who went against Trump's wishes for redistricting, right? And so there are 7 candidates who are running against them in the primaries. Well, for not just against those 2, but 7 candidates running in the primaries for also senator, but other positions as well. Every single one of the 7 are Trump backed, and they are just soaring in the polls. Yeah, and so, Indiana's going to be Republican anyways, but I would have much rather preferred it be Republicans who are willing to tell Trump no.
Right.
That didn't happen. It's not happening. And then just like life stuff, like I was so mad about the whole Marco Rubio thing and then all of that, and so I just like rage cleaned my entire house. I'm talking like scrubbing the baseboards. I used a toothbrush to get all the like creases in my cabinet doors and all, like just spick and span. I finished about 25 minutes before the bus ran, and then had unceremoniously, unannounced, no prior arrangement, my son and his best friend come walking through the door. And within 10 minutes, I don't know if you've ever had 2 ADHD 7-year-old boys loose in your house on a rainy day and they can't go outside. Today was supposed to be baseball practice. That got canceled due to the weather. So they were just trapped in my house, and then I was informed that he would also be staying for dinner, which I normally don't mind, but at least asking first is usually a cool thing. And within 10 minutes of them walking in the door, my perfectly sparkling clean house that I spent all day on looked like it had been hit by 2 fucking tornadoes. And so then I just had veggie straw crumbs and bubble mixture all over my floors. And I couldn't
so
even
funny.
get a full hour of enjoying my clean house.
That's very funny.
And Yeah. So
Yeah,
that
no,
was just
I
the
know, I
cherry on
know
top.
that there are moments in life where you just silently go "fuck" as soon as something like that starts.
Yep, that was me. That was me
Oh
today.
man, all right, I can see that my picture's stuttering a little bit. Oh, we're at whatever. Fucking Windows, fuck them. Anyway, so Austin says, "Feel bad for your boy." The fuck does that mean?
No, my boy is a great boy. They're both great kids.
Yeah,
And
but
I didn't
they
get
are a pain in
onto
the
the.
ass. You know, those things can
Yeah,
both be true, and you don't, and you
yeah,
haven't even begun to experience the worst of it. Sorry, I don't normally do this
yeah.
to parents, but you know, once the teen years hit, it's all over.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm fully aware. Like, I know what's coming.
Yeah,
But, like, no.
just
And,
don't
like,
ever
I
shine a
didn't get.
black light in your place ever.
Oh, fuck no. And I didn't get mad at them. Like, I was
Yeah,
internally like, what
yeah,
the
you're just
fuck?
like
But,
ah.
like, I didn't. But I also am cognizant of the fact that they are two 7-year-old ADHD boys
Mm-hmm.
who are rambunctious and they're trapped inside. So there's going to be a mess. Kids are messy, kids make a
Yeah,
mess.
yeah,
And so I allow them to have their fun and I don't get onto them for it.
right.
Now, granted, I did get onto them one time when they were throwing a baseball in my living room, and then knocked my antique 80-year-old glass saloon lamp off of the table. That
Oh
one kind of
wow.
got me a little.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean,
but you know,
but you have to be a parent no matter what. Like, you know,
mm-hmm,
you know, I feel really bad for the children whose parents are trying to be their friends. Like, why are you trying to befriend a child for starters? And secondly, that's
yeah,
not your fucking job. Do your
nope,
job. Give them discipline. Teach them how to get on in the world and let them be fucking mad at you.
absolutely,
It's okay. God, I
yeah,
don't understand
and
people that are
like,
afraid of that.
yeah, and like. They're both very sweet boys, and they don't require a whole lot to like set them straight. So I'm just like, hey, that's unacceptable. We don't throw baseballs inside the house. We see what could happen. We're gonna knock this off. And they're both just like immediately like, yes, ma'am, and then
Right.
like chilled out. It's
That's
that
it.
easy.
There you go. It's what you got to do. And you know, I like my son's 40 now. He's turning 41 this month. And like I've never for a second wanted to be his friend. It's like I have friends. I don't need a child as a friend. And what
Yeah,
kind of parent are you going to be if you're trying to get your child to like you? It's ridiculous.
yeah.
Anyway, so Danny, same question to you. What went on today aside from the doctors and your cheese coma? Did you spot anything in the news that was disturbing to you?
I watched about 30 minutes of news and almost had a conniption fit, so I kind of turned that off.
Yes, and
Uh,
that is a
Mm-hmm.
dangerous
but
medical condition.
yeah, so I went. You know, I think I went to bed early last night, about 9:30. I don't know why. I got a bath. I went to sleep in the on the bed on the top of the bed spread. And I said, "Man, screw this shit. I'm gonna go underneath the covers and get warm and go to sleep." And I went to sleep. I got up at 3 o'clock this morning,
Oh wow.
and I stayed up because I knew if I'd have gone back to bed again, I wouldn't have made my doctor's appointment today. But but what really pissed me off was I had to go on to the other side of Olympia to go to my doctor's appointment. On the other side of town. And when I got on the other side of town, because I first off I drove to Buick because it was full of gas, and I know going by these gas stations when I started looking at the prices, I'd have had a really another conniption fit. So by the time I got to the other side of town, and I went by the Shell station, it was 6.09 a gallon over there.
Jesus.
As soon as I got to to the clinic across from the hospital over there, I wanted to just bitch slap a Republican as soon as I walked in the door, but I didn't find one for voting for this piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know that started all this crap. And but let me tell you, this time of year it usually goes up 50 cents or 75 cents anyway because they change over the fuel. mixture. They know that the people are starting to travel for the summer, so it always goes up. But yeah, but not like that. Plus, on top of that, this was all preventable. But the sad part about it is when I thought about it, is that the real pain hasn't hit the pumps yet because we're still running off. We're still buying the fuel that we already had here, the oil that was already here, the stuff and everything. We have not felt the shortage part of it yet, and it's going to go way over $100 a barrel, probably close to 150, maybe even $200, because what he's done here with Vermouth and all that, the straight there, it's going to take a couple of years for the even the world market to adjust and get back caught up when this whole crap is over with. Plus, on top of that, there's already a couple of UAE countries that's already backed out of OPEC. Okay, so we haven't seen the worst of it yet. But all I can tell everybody is hold on to your ass, 'cause they ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Sherry, for being here. And thank you for the heart me. Like I think there's a real chance that in many parts of the world and possibly even in America, it's going to look like Mad Max, where they're fighting for gas and for water.
Yep.
And the water thing is coming. I'm 100% convinced of that, because what these data farms for AI, they're just consuming water at an unbelievable rate, and we're gonna run out. We're
Yep.
gonna run out. It's that simple. Like I heard something like one farm consumes as much water as like 18 million homes or some crazy shit like that. I might be remembering that incorrectly, but it was just craziness. Oh, look at this genius. Timbo says, bend over, liberals, dump is going in. No, that's what he did to you. He lied to you. You
Everybody.
bent over and took it. You're the cucks. You're the ones swinging. Okay. I can't say my usual phrase because I got in trouble for that. But you're the ones on his jock, and the unfortunate thing is that you took all of us down with you.
Yep.
Your inability to engage your intellect is what fucked up America. And that's why I have Surviving Dumps Damage as my title today, because it's a question mark as to whether we actually will or not.
Well, here's the other thing. It's affecting them too, but they don't want to admit it.
Of
Because they
course.
think that, well, right now, what's happening now is all Biden's fault.
Look at this
That
idiot. He
Trump
says
said
you're
so.
going down. Who's going down? The whole country's
America?
going down, you dummy. Oh God.
And you know what's really sad is the minimum wage is what, $7.25 an hour, and
Yeah,
it's never been.
it's been that way for almost 17 years now.
Now it costs that for a pound of hamburger. $7.25,
Look,
and some of us higher than that.
here's the situation that Americans are in. And yes, I get the whole price of a pound of hamburger. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't care, but I get it. But you have a situation where the cost of living has skyrocketed for the last 17 years, and wage growth has stagnated. And I blame Obama for this too. Obama had 8 years in office. Okay, it got to $7.25 an hour. I believe it was July 9th, 2009. He was 6 months in office at the time. Okay, and it didn't grow at all in his entire time in office. That's on him, partly. Okay, and every president since then has ignored that. I mean, Biden did a great job in terms of job growth and bringing back manufacturing and all, the CHIPS Act and all these things that were really, really great stimulators of the economy, which, by the way, Dump ended immediately when he got into office. But, you're now in a situation where most Americans cannot draw outside of the lines for any reason. Meaning, one emergency could be the end of everything that you know. One emergency can make you lose your house. One emergency could make you homeless if you're renting an apartment. It just takes one bad thing to happen. In my case, it was my car breaking down. And if it wasn't for people helping me, I would have absolutely been homeless. No way around that. There's no way of saying any other different, like, and my landlord told me that the way that his management company works is the day you're one day outside of the grace period that they give everybody for rent, which is 5 days, on the 6th day, they start court proceedings. Like they're not even like trying to, and like that's like literally being late once, because I have never been late on rent. I thought I was going to be late on rent when my car broke down, so I let my landlord know, and this is what he told me: oh, they're gonna kick you out. So like, luckily, people gathered around and helped me, and I was able to pay my rent. But I mean, what a precarious and absurd way for people to live in the richest country in the world.
Well, the only reason why I brought up the hamburger part, because other than it's so high, and even the minimum wage doesn't compete with it. Back when in the '60s, when I was a meat cutter before I went in the army, I was selling hamburger at our meat department in the grocery store at 39 cents a pound. Now you can't tell me the cows and beef is more expensive because it's better quality, because that's bullshit. And number two, it does not make any sense to have people sit there and work an hour and still not have enough out of that 1 hour to buy one package of hamburgers. Now that's
Timbo
a fucking
says that
crime.
it's always been that way for working people. That is not true,
No, it
Timbo.
hasn't.
You don't know American history, and I'm not surprised because everything else you've said. Come on. So, yeah, I mean, it used to be the rule of thumb when I was growing up, when I first was working and getting ready to go out into the world, leave my mother's home and all that other shit. It was, you had to make per week what your rent cost per month. That's how you knew that you would be able to afford your life, right? If your rent was 500 a month, as long as you made 500 a week, you were okay, because that would
Yeah.
not only cover your rent and your utilities and your food and your car payment and your insurance. It would enable you to save money. All right, and now that's, I mean, people are paying $3,000, $5,000 rent, and meanwhile the average income is like what, around 60,000 or something. Like, that's not going to work. It's
No.
just not going to work. If you're making $1,200 a week on for the average American is making $1,200 a week, and your rent is $3,000, you're fucked. You cannot afford to have any. Listen to Timbo. You're like a child, dude. I gotta say goodbye. You disagree with everyone on everything. Oh my God.
No, just fucking morons.
Jesus. I just can't talk
Where
to
was
fucking
he
childlike people.
when I needed to slap someone? Where in the hell was he?
You're showing how ignorant you really are. Right. The guy who just said that it's always been this hard for working people is telling me how ignorant I am. How wonderful. Someone's trying to come up, and once again, for some reason, this fucking app is just not responsive. Come on. There we go. One tester? Oh, that sounds like a bullshit account. Let's see. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Can't see them. All prices go up. Oh, wow. Where did you get your degree in economics? What a brilliant observation. All prices go up. Yeah, and it used to be that wages went up to keep up with the cost of living. That's what we're talking about, not the absolute ridiculous and obvious reality that prices go up every year.
There's also the fact that, like, we've never before had quite this level of a problem with just blatant price gouging in times of crisis, and our government allowing corporations to do so. A really great example of that is with gas prices, right? So I believe it was in 2009. The price of a barrel of oil was, I want to say, it was like around 60 cents cheaper than what it is right now today with everything going on. That was due to a bunch of different shit, recession, the struggles in the Middle East in 2009, all of that. Bunch of different shit. But the price of gas was still $1 cheaper than it is today. So for an entire barrel, 60-cent difference, it was 60 cents cheaper, or no, maybe more expensive. Either way, it was a 66 cents difference, but still $1 cheaper at the pump per gallon.
Let's see. What is it? Sergio Garcia has made some interesting comments here. My neighbor has an Epi flag. What's your thoughts on that? He has it along with the rebel flag. Well, what else do we need to know about this guy? Your neighbor is a racist piece of shit who obviously is in support of PDOs. So that's it. That's his story.
What the fuck is it? An E flag? What the fuck does that look like?
Who knows?
Never even heard of that shit.
Probably looks like an adult handing candy to a teenage girl or something. I don't know. But whatever it is, if you went out of your way, because that doesn't just fall into your lap, right? You have to go out of your way to get an E flag, right? And you have to purposefully put up a rebel flag. Sorry, this is funny. Irance says, or is it Irance or Elrance? Sorry. Why? Hold on. Why does Yoddah look so handsome tonight? I don't know. Maybe I got a little extra sleep today. Who knows? But I'm sure it's a one-off. But that also should suggest how shitty I look most days. Anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's just an impossible situation. And by the way, it's been this way for a long time. And Dump just decided to go full bore on the problem and made it exponentially worse. Like he is really speeding up the demise of America. He is shunning our allies. The people that we have quasi-adversarial relationships with, and I say quasi because we still do business with them, right? So we pretend they're the bad guy, but they're still doing business with them, right? He's pissing them off. He's making them form new alliances so that they can, continue doing business without America. I don't know if anybody heard, was it, who's Charles' wife? Camilla? Is that her name? King Charles? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Did anyone hear her comments about how disgusting Dump is?
Yeah.
Like, and when do you hear these people even say bad things about other people, right? Like they rarely speak this aggressively about anybody. And Camilla was talking about just what an oafish, obnoxious, unnecessarily aggressive person he was being. And you could see it. You could see it when he was walking with them, and he would literally cut in front of them to shake someone's hand just so he could prove that, he had the bigger sack. Fucking pathetic.
He did it to the Queen when he was in England.
Right. What did he give her, like?
No, he would just consistently. So, granted, other foreign leaders aren't expected to follow to the letter every ounce of royal protocol. But it's typically, if you are in England with a monarch, one of the main rules is, you don't walk in front of them, right? And you don't, cut them off and stop to where they almost run into you. And he was constantly doing that.
Yeah.
He's an oaf. He's a brainless oaf.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he did that in his first term, right? He just
yes,
at the the G7 maybe, or the G20, he just grabbed someone and pulled him out of the way. And I'm telling you, man, I have a very, very clear standing policy in my life. You can say anything you want to me. I don't care how vile you are. I don't care how hurtful you're trying to be. I don't care what you say. You could say something about my mother. You could say something about my son. Doesn't matter. You put your hands on me, all bets are off. And these motherfuckers that just took that shit, if I had been that dude that he pulled out of the way like that, because it was really fucked up how he did it, I would have been swinging. I would have been swinging 100%. I wouldn't have given a fuck. Let's see. Someone else wants to come up. Oh, goddamn this system. I keep thinking that I need to reboot my system before I go up, and I keep forgetting. But anyway, it looks like it's either Igor or Igor.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Okay.
What's going on? How old are you?
25 years of age.
And what's on your mind?
I'm just... Should I name my son? I want to
This is
get
gonna be riveting.
All right, you're really not interesting at all. So,
like I said, riveting.
Jesus.
Someone let the escapees out of the
Ronald,
asylum.
thank you for following me. I appreciate that. Golf of America, not Gulf of America, Golf of America says TT lives are cheaper than padded rooms, not than padded rooms, wrong word, and antidepressants for the TDS support group. Oh my God, how did you manage to type that all out with just your stump? How did you do that? That's impressive. Fuck. Oh, man. Wow. So does anybody remember the whole Igor reference that I made?
Is that a Young Frankenstein reference?
Bingo.
Haha. Gene Wilder. Fuck yeah.
There you go. One of the funniest films ever made for my money.
Funny, so not really that funny, but kind of cute in my opinion. My parents had this really senior pit bull mix show up in their yard one day, and she was very clearly not well. She was just skin and bones. She was very off balance and stumbled around a lot, half blind, damn near deaf. But she was just the sweetest thing in the world. And, we took her to the vet. They ended up finding out, she had a brain tumor. We're like, well, clearly her time is limited, and, we're going to make the decision to, have that final visit with the vet. But let's at least give her, a couple good weeks of being in a home, being warm, being well fed, being loved on. But she was just so odd and clearly not all there, so we named her Abby, as in Abby Normal from
That's
Young
great.
Frankenstein.
That's great.
And it was just,
I
it
love
fit
that.
her, but she was super sweet.
That is I love creativity like that. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite line in the film is really obscure. I think it was probably just a quick flick of the wrist that created it, but for some reason it made me laugh so hard. And it was that constable that had the wooden arm, and he was always like,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And near the end of the film, with the angry mob, looking for vengeance and all that, he said, "A riot is an ugly, ugly thing, and what this town needs right now." I still don't know why that's so goddamn funny to me, but it really is. Might have been the accent. I don't know. I think that sold it.
Yeah, it's the
Riot is
delivery
an
for
ugly
sure.
thing. Yeah. I mean, that's half the battle. Look, of course, you got to have good writing. The words on the page have to be there, but it's the comic actors that bring it to life. Like Madeline Kahn in that film. Come on, man. Just absolute brilliance. Absolute brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Gene Wilder. I mean, that's money in the bank. You put Gene Wilder
Mm-hmm.
on the marquee, and it's like, yeah, we don't care what it is. We don't care how
Mm-hmm.
dumb the premise of the film is. None of that matters. It just matters that he's in it. And of course, Gene Hackman was in that film too. Now that I remember it, two great
Mm-hmm.
Genes. Let's see what else we got.
Man, I'm sitting here trying to enjoy this conversation, and I just thought about watching that Rubio conference again and got mad all over again.
It's like a time release shitball.
Yes, I swear. Well, because they were talking about the Iran situation, and inevitably, the press is asking questions, and a reporter asked him like, "Hey, one of the reasons why the ceasefires failed so much is because is not real keeps attacking Lebanon. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, is there something that you guys are going to do about it? Are you going to try to tell them to cut it out, basically?" And Rubio just went on this whole fucking spiel where basically all of the sounds coming out of his mouth were just gargling, gargling down BB.
Yeah.
And he went on to say, like, "Oh, the problem is not between the governments of Israel and Lebanon. Israel doesn't want to take land in Lebanon. They're not trying to take over any part of Lebanon. It's just, they're just going after Hezbollah." I'm like, they're destroying entire fucking cities.
Please.
I was so mad. I was so mad.
That would have enraged me too. That would absolutely
Yeah.
have enraged me. That's crazy.
Like,
That's
Israel
so
straight up
crazy to
has
say
said
that.
that land belongs to them. And you're gonna sit.
By
He's
the
like,
way,
yeah, they
this
could have a
this is
peaceful
all that
resolution
Israel-
any minute.
This is all that Israel's
Yeah.
ever done. They just keep fucking with their neighbors. They can't stop themselves.
I was so mad about it.
Marco Rubio
yeah.
must, I mean, like, he must get deloused every time he comes home. Like, it's like, what was that, was it Ace Ventura where they like deloused him and hit him with a hose at some point?
I can't remember. I haven't seen Ace Ventura since I was a small child.
But it's like one of those scenes where an abusive prison staff just is real heavy-handed when they intake prisoners, and they just take heaps of delouse and throw them at them, and then hit them with a hose real hard to take it off. It's that's got to be Rubio's routine when he gets home, because it's just. It's like that. The lyrics from the Police song "Synchronicity." Every single meeting with his so-called superiors was a humiliating kick in the crotch.
Well, you know what? If I'm gonna be completely honest, I I honestly
Did you
hope
see this
that is his
comment?
nighttime. Oh, Deb, just take your meds and go to bed. I
I
hope
bet you
that
don't even
is
know what his
nighttime
job
routine.
is. I'm
I
sorry.
hope that is his nighttime routine. No, you're fine. And I hope that whenever every single day when he's gets covered in delousing powder, that he has like at least 3 unknown paper cuts somewhere on his body, and I hope it fucking hurts.
Oh man, he's doing a good job.
Hey, Deb, do you want me to tell you what charges he would receive by an international criminal court if he were brought
Yeah.
up on charges by a modern day Nuremberg? I did a whole lecture on it. I could tell you.
It's quite extensive, by the way. Hang on to your hat.
War crimes are involved, by the way.
Of course they are. I mean, these people were indiscriminately dropping armaments on innocent fishermen just because they felt like it. Wow. Damon's getting a good laugh out of that too. Damon, feel free to come up if you want. Oh my God.
Where have you been, my guy? Like, I haven't seen Damon in a minute.
He's been lurking. He hangs out, but he hasn't come up on the panel in a while. Maybe we can shame
Well,
him
what
into
the
it.
fuck, Damon? Yeah, what the fuck, Damon? You just don't like talking to us anymore? Is that how it is? You bastard, you get your ass up here and stop being antisocial.
I mean, we could have asked nicely too, but fuck that.
No.
Damon, I'll tell you what. There he is. He's requesting up. I love it. We peer pressured him into it. Oh Lord, that's funny. Damon, how you doing, brother?
I've been shamed and summoned.
Hi.
Yeah, and we feel good about that, by the way.
Nothing wrong with a little shame here and there. Hey, how's everybody doing? Hey, Yoda.
We're just trying to survive the onslaught of madness that is America these days.
Hey,
I'm
Jessica.
going to be honest, that's probably the most satisfaction I've gotten all day.
I had a doctor's appointment today because I got a bone spur on my foot and on my heel. So I didn't really, when you're in the doctor's office, you got about 45 minutes for, just radio silence when nobody's talking to you. So I got a chance to see some press conferences, and I felt like I was going to need to be seen for something else. I was nauseous.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
I was nauseous.
Right.
I was nauseous.
Deb is saying that either I or all of us are delusional. Deb, that's too big a word for you. I suspect that you don't know what that word means. And Zippy says, funny, I'm doing great under dump. Well, good for you. Good. And I could see how much you care about your fellow citizens that are suffering under dump. As long as you're doing well, you're a perfect Republican Christian example of what's wrong with America. But thank you so much for weighing in.
And why are you underneath dump? What I mean?
Yeah.
Are you handcuffed? Or is it?
No, that's how Dump squats over him and releases.
Yeah.
He's saving our country from what, Zippy? So tell me what he's saving our country from. Let me guess. The immigrants. Joe Biden.
He's saving our country from low gas prices right now.
Yeah, I love how Republicans continuously really live up to the standard, of being those conservative Christians, the strong Christian example.
Yeah.
I love that part in the Bible where Jesus said, fuck it, let them all starve.
Right. Yeah, Jesus did that famous part of Sermon on the Mount, which is, was one of my favorite speeches when I was a young man. I thought it was one of the only redeemable aspects of the Bible. But there's that little known section right near the end when he says, and remember, the most important thing, folks, always look out for numero uno.
Oh, and don't forget that part in the Bible too, where Jesus.
Oh, there we go.
told
Oh, Democrats
his-
don't even know what a woman is. Oh, man. Zippy, you're like a year too late with that nonsense, bro. We've already been through all of you saying the dumb shit, right? You should look back at the history about the Democratic Party. So should you. Because you don't know the history. You're referring to 165 years ago because that's all you guys ever do. But you haven't looked at this last 75 years of the history of the Democratic Party. Or is it 75 years? Probably a little longer than that. But since basically 1928, it's almost 100 years. When did FDR get in? Was it 32, 33 is when he started, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you look at that time to now, you'll see that that everything that you enjoy in your life was given to you by Democrats. And user 9158, that's such a crazy thing to say that you have to go. You absolutely have to go. That's nonsense.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Zippy says, yeah, I did brain dead Joe Biden. Brain dead Joe Biden somehow managed to accomplish 10 times more things that were good for America than Dump has. So you want to call him brain dead? Okay, Dr. Zippy. I'm sure you're qualified to make that analysis. But, he didn't do shit. Okay, Zippy, I'll tell you what. You have to be
Let's run a
this
comparison.
tall. You have to be this tall to be in this live, and we're really talking about your intellect. And so you're gone. You're gone. He didn't do shit.
I'm glad we were talking about intellect because I would not have passed the fucking bar.
No. I'm not going to height shame anybody.
Because I'd be fucked.
Listen, there's a place for short women. We call them spinners, and God bless them.
Fair point.
Damon, when you came up here, you said, hi, Yoda. Hi, Jessica. Well, my chopped liver down here at the bottom.
He also said, how's everybody doing? Let's be fair, Danny.
Yeah.
So he included you.
Hey, Danny.
So let me ask you something, Danny. At the doctor today, did they check your oil? Is that why you're ornery? What's going on here?
I got a lube job.
Oh, no.
While I was there.
Whoa.
No, not that type of lube job. You guys got to get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, that's my permanent residence.
Injections. I got my injections today in my shoulders, both my shoulders.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the last time I got my prostate exam, and both of his hands were on my shoulders. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, though. Does he call? Does he write? Does he take me out to dinner? No.
Did he smell like shit?
Welcome to life as a woman.
It could have been Trump, though. That's the thing.
Sometimes, metaphorically, it is dump. He has bent all of us over and spread us wide.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I wonder what brand of cigarettes he smokes when he gets done fucking us.
God.
I think he eats
the one good thing, Demond, I'm sorry that you have bone spurs. At least you don't qualify for the draft.
Right. You can be a draft dodger too.
I can be president.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's good to have dreams, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he is by far. I'm sorry. Here comes the insult. He is by far one of the dumbest individuals I've heard try to explain any damn thing. I don't get it. I don't see how people even follow him and still see him as a viable option for dog catcher.
You have to be responsible to be a dog catcher.
Yeah.
You do.
By the way,
Yeah.
Navy veteran 65 says Chedrick Green, Dem State Senate 35, Michigan won special election, flipping the seat to blue. That's nice.
Oh, that'll make like number 31 or 32 seats now since this current administration started that have flipped from red to blue while not a single seat has flipped red.
Look
Just
at
want to
that.
point that out. Also, like, Demond, thank you for coming up, despite me harassing you. I do want to say, though, like, I give you so much credit. You are so sweet. Because I love that you gave us this disclaimer of here comes the insult, and then to proceed to say the tamest thing that has ever been said on this live between this group of individuals.
That was my fastball. That was that
You're
was the
so
insult.
nice.
That's good stuff. Well, I mean, look, Dump has so many horrific attributes to his personality. And no matter how I examine it, like, here's a Nepo baby born into outrageous wealth. His father left him him and his children, 22,000 rental units. Okay. Just that alone, that's outrageous wealth to be born into. Okay. And then he left them, some people say, between $300 and $400 million in cash. So let's be conservative and say $300 million in cash. That's outrageous wealth. Okay. And on top of that, he left him relationships with judges and insurance companies and bankers and politicians,
Lawyers.
And of course, lawyers like Roy Kahn, who's, his law license isn't worth the fucking paper it's printed on. But, this was a man who was born into a situation where his survival was guaranteed for his whole life. And he's so dumb and had such a chip on his shoulder to prove what a great man he was that he squandered so much money when all he had to do was nothing. He could have literally just island hopped all over the world and just let his money grow. Would have been worth 20 or 30 billion dollars today, but he's making up for lost time because he's probably gonna if he lasts through the administration, through all through 3 more years, he might very well get up to that level of money because he's just skimming it in from everywhere. Like this fucking Bitcoin Ponzi scheme that he has going is outrageous. That alone needs to put him in jail for 100 years. But like when you stack up all of the grift that he has going on, it's mind-boggling.
Well, he was down at the Villages here a day or so ago and said that he figured that he'll probably be out of office in about 8 to 9 years from now.
Oh, look,
Yeah, I
hope
saw
springs
that one.
eternal. If he makes it 8 or 9 more months, I'd be very impressed.
Oh, God, here's hoping that he doesn't, to clarify.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for tomorrow. The big, beautiful obituary pops out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just
Breaking
such a
news.
loathsome human being. Like he I mean, imagine being his child.
Shit.
I mean, look at his children. Pardon me. He's got one jacked up on snow all the time. Like I've never seen a
Shit.
dude sitting perfectly still, sweating as much as Don Jr. does. Because that dude, like I was around this life for the first 23 years of my life. I was, I dated a woman in show business, and I saw all of the backstage shit go down. So I know what it looks like when a dude is keyed up, and this dude is always keyed up. If you catch him in an interview, he looks like he's ready to jump out of his skin. So he's got a real bad problem. Okay. And Eric, He's just busy eating paint chips. He has no idea what's going on. You know, Tiffany is hiding in the shadows. Ivana, I think that, or Ivanka, whatever, I think she doesn't want anything to do with them anymore. She's just counting all the money that he sweeps in. Like the money that they laundered through Jared Kushner is quite stunning. Just billions of dollars for a guy who never was a money manager before and suddenly was entrusted with $3 billion to invest. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's also not forget how he is now somehow a master negotiator to foreign diplomats and foreign leaders. And then somehow they end up coming back with deals that benefit the Trump family personally. Yeah. I wonder how that happens.
Yeah, here's Jared's pitch. Hey, listen, Donnie pardoned my father for his crimes, so that's all you need to know, folks. Let's go.
Jessica just phrased that they come back with deals benefiting the Trump family. So everybody's getting something out of this except for the American people.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting their hand in the till. Everybody's benefiting. All the Saudi funds, they're getting military equipment. They're getting development deals. They're getting kickback money. They're getting geopolitical strategies where their rivals are being attacked by essentially our military as well as is not real's military. But the American people get to pay higher gas, higher food costs, higher energy and heating bills. It's a lose-lose slippery slope for the American people. So I'm hoping that we've gotten to the place where enough are waking up.
Here's Moonlit Glassworks, which, like, wow, talk about making it easy for you to find someone. He gave us his business name. Moonlit Glassworks. Here's a person confusing two separate topics and thinking that he's making one point. He says, if you didn't blame Dump, you wouldn't have friends. Of course, those two things have nothing to do with one another. So you're really just a silly person. Thank you, Island Boy Pundit, for giving me a heart me, and of course, if you feel like joining us, you are always welcome. But yeah, I mean, it's so we got terrible business person. Because his avarice is ridiculous, his dishonesty is ridiculous. He is a person convicted of fraud in both civil and criminal court. So we're talking about several times. We're talking about he got pinched for his children's charity that he defrauded. That was a $2 million fine. Mm-hmm. He got pinched for Dump University. And let me tell you what a great negotiator he is. He was, and this comes from the lawyer who prosecuted the case, he offered him a deal of $2 million to settle, and Dump said, no, let's go to trial. And he wound up losing and getting hit with $25 million for a fine for his fraudulent university. And then there's the Letitia James case where he defrauded, insurance companies and banks. And then there's the criminal case where he got hit with 34 felony counts. Hey, Island Boy Pundit, what's up?
Oh, man, a lot. Doing my best to kind of stave off an imminent ban.
You and me both. I just came back from a ban Saturday.
No, they want to ban my entire account, period.
Sure.
They're trying to ban everything.
Yeah.
They say ban warning. And I'm like the last thing I got that took me to the ban warning, I was expressing an opinion about the level of BS.
Doesn't matter.
That's going on. It's misinformation. And I'm like, what the fuck? I can't express an opinion anymore.
I got banned for saying that someone was swinging from Donnie Dump's sack. By the way, even though it was a temporary ban for a live, the way they do live access is that you can only be banned so much, and before they discontinue your live access permanently. So, luckily I have another account where I could go live on if I need to, but right now I'm on a 2-week trial period, right? So the smart thing to do is not go live for 2 weeks, and that way they can't ding me, because if they ding me during the 14 days, then they don't extend it for 180 days. So that's the game you have to play,
Yeah. Yeah, and I have my new account is endangered nuance, just something totally different, Um, yeah, I'm just trying to do something. Using the opportunity to do some longer form content over there, some little more different tone, different type of content.
So, speaking of that, since we can't name different platforms, but the big red video platform that we all know and love. Let me just show you some interesting numbers. At least they're interesting to me because it's my account. But I'm going to show you the numbers for the last few shorts that I put up. Now, keep in mind, these are the same shorts that I posted on TikTok that
Yeah.
got, 100 or 300 views,
Yep.
right? Which,
I
hey,
know exactly
fine.
where you're going.
Right. So here's one from 2 weeks ago, 1,000 views. Then another one from 2 weeks ago, 775 views. Then 8 days ago, 975 views. 4
Yep.
days ago, 1,300 views. And 15 hours ago, 1,000 views.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I have the same thing going on.
like literally the same video.
Yes,
I
I
didn't
have
I didn't alter the video at all between platforms. I just posted it here, waited a day, posted it there.
even and sometimes I download the when I do those text videos here, right? I even download them as a video, like a short, like they download it like 10 seconds or something like that, and I put them up on the place that shows your face, and they do much better over there,
Yeah.
even than here. I mean,
Yeah,
when I load them up to
I almost never log into the Book of Faces anymore. But, that I never did well on there.
yeah.
I had like 1,000 something friends at one point. It was mostly my high school buddies and shit, and people from Long Island. But I almost never go over there anymore. Just like my childhood friend that I knew from when I was 2 years old. I go. She had a birthday today, so I go on, and a couple times a year for people like that. But other than that, I don't really go on anymore.
Let me tell you something. How crazy it was on that place. Shows your face, right? So you remember when January 6th happened?
Your volume dropped out significantly.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
When the January 6th happened, right? Um, for weeks, almost a month after that, the the book told me basically restricted my ability to post. They didn't ban me, but they restricted my ability to post
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of those.
because they say, oh, I have influencer status over there. Like I have like 15. I have 1,500 or more friends, which I do over there, and I have influencer status. I have a lot of high engagement on my posts. You know, which that place over there, I didn't really do too much video content. I did mainly writing. So I did essays. I did mini essays.
Yeah, I've done a ton of those. Yeah.
Did essays. So my essays used to get shared and reshared and captioned and stuff over there. It used to spread all over the book of face. So they said, "Oh no, 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 we can't have you doing that." You know.
we can't have you using social media for what we intended it for.
Yeah, we can't have you doing that. And I was just like, "What the hell's wrong with you people?"
Yeah, stop using our platform and using the tools that we gave you to use it. That's like when TikTok pulled down, and they did this like 4 or 5 times. I would use the text tool, right? Now that's given to us by TikTok to post on this platform, and they would say, no, that's low quality content. And I'm like,
What?
it's your tool, motherfucker.
What?
Yeah, that's happened several times. Yeah.
Oh my God. But on a serious note, man, I have to say, I am really thankful to be among the group of people on here who have been unrelenting about talking the truth. We will not shut up, right? We're not gonna capitulate. We're not gonna like behave. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful to be among many of you on here that have been on here that are kicking ass. And
Well,
I'm
thank you.
saying I love all of you guys up here who are kicking ass. Who you have a lot of followers, and you don't. No matter how many times you get banned or get put down, you guys start another account. You come back roaring. You say, "Nah, you ain't shutting me up."
Like
You know what I'm
herpes,
saying?
baby. I'm here
Yeah, that's
permanently.
right. We coming back, man. I'm gonna take a hiatus and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna take a sabbatical and I'm gonna come back.
Oh, Big
So,
Mike. Oh, Big Mike. He's saying, God bless Dump. Dump, 3 hearts. US, US. Us.
jeez, these people.
Riveting.
Yes, quite riveting.
Have to get out my
It's like
MAGA.
Ron Burgundy said, compelling and rich.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to get out my MAGA
Truly
Dakota
groundbreaking
ring.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Truly compelling
the one
stuff,
that
guys.
specializes in gibberish.
I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
you
I'm,
this much,
God
man.
bless Dump. I mean, how
I'm gonna tell
deep
you this
in
much,
the
man. When
fucking
it
cult
when
do
it
you have to be to say God bless Dump? Holy shit.
when it comes back around to bite him in the tuchus, right? You know, that's the thing. They're gonna become looking for community at that point, like a lot of them are right now. I'm not with it, man.
Yeah, they're going to be begging
This
for
is insane.
handouts. They just like the farmers did. They voted for him, and then they're like, "Oh, how
And they
come no one's
still won't
subsidizing
admit,
us?"
and they
Well,
still won't admit that they made a mistake. They still won't say it.
Well, here's the thing.
Big
Even the
Mike
ones
says
who
Harris
do,
would have screwed the country. Of course.
Oh, get the
You
fuck
mean
out
right.
of
worse
here.
than it is now? Worse than the
Let's
screwing
see.
Donnie Dump gave us?
Let's do a list really quick. Let's think of all of the things that you guys said was going to happen if Harris was elected. We would have war in the Middle East. Gas prices would soar. All of our allies and adversaries would no longer respect us. Let's see. There would be civil disrest. Troops would run through the streets. Um, gee, that sounds real fucking familiar, doesn't it, guys?
Oh, the
Yeah.
economy. They say, oh, the economy would
Oh,
crater
the
and Wall
economy
Street,
would, yeah.
and Wall Street would be in shambles.
Big,
Ah,
big,
done.
big Mike,
You got it.
you're just not sophisticated enough for this conversation. So bye.
Bye bye.
Y'all keep
I,
begging for 3 more years. Look, look, look. This
They
dumb
you
have
shit.
know,
used. Honestly, if I was a person who was an endlessly empathetic person, right? I would feel really sorry for these people. I would, because their entire identity is tied to a man who who's not worthy of that, who's not worthy of that kind of trust, who's not worthy of that kind of weight being put on him. You know what I'm saying?
And
He's
really,
not
no
just
man
worthy of it.
is. Nobody.
No man is, but I'm saying,
It's like Peter Boyle said in the Malcolm X film. No man should have that much power, right?
yeah. And that, but they finally, and the thing about it with these people, for decades they've been like, I think I made a video about this too. For decades they've been like slowly and surely like fretting about the growing diversity and the growing color that's bleeding through the
Too many
country. You know what
brown
I'm saying?
folks.
Yeah, and then too many people who are coming out and with these alternative lifestyles, all that stuff. You know what I mean? And they just for decades they've been growing more and more uneasy about it, and no politician ever would take them seriously. And then finally, here comes Mr. Man, and he's there like, yes, That's my guy. He's my guy. I gotta have him. He's my guy. You mess with him, you mess with me. You see all of them doing that stuff up there? The people walking around with the axe, talking about they're ready for war with Iran. You remember the videos? Them
Yeah,
poor
all of
fools.
these wannabe Minutemen that were like, "Oh, the Second Amendment in case of a tyrannical government," and then a tyrannical government shows up, and they're like, "How far do you want me to bend over, Daddy Donnie?"
I
Oh
actually know
man.
the exact video that you're talking about because I saw it too. The big old country guy carrying the axe, like ready to go to war with Iran, looking like Meal Team 6.
Here's a Meal
Oh,
Team Six
Ink in
front.
Iterations is letting his racism show. He said, "You people are all the same." Oh, you know what you can do? Go fuck yourself.
He looks like a cross between Meal Team Six and the mythical figure Paul Bunyan. You know,
Paul
that's what
Bunyan
he looks like.
was in
I was
shape and
gonna
was
say
strong.
gravy seals, but yeah, I was gonna
Gravy
say
Yeah,
seals.
gravy seals,
I
but you
like
know.
it. No.
yeah.
By the way, the thing that I was laughing at earlier is as soon as Island Boy started talking about having compassion for these people, Jessica went, "Ugh." That was
Oh
great.
yeah.
Jessica,
I love
don't
those involuntary moments. I have them all the
Jessica,
time, and
don't
I'm just
worry.
like,
I have
oh,
none. I have none for them. Trust me, I have
yeah.
none.
No, like
I have none. This one's
I
scary.
think it sucks
This one's
that the
scary.
dumbest ones have been taken advantage of. However,
Hmm.
you still have agency. Just because you're dumb and
Took the
vulnerable,
words
you
right out
still
of my
have
mouth.
agency. And
Hmm.
so I can say it's unfortunate that you're too dumb and unwise to understand that you painted yourself into a corner by following this man, but you did it. If you're allowed to
Hmm.
vote, if you're allowed to have a job, you have a certain amount of agency. You have the same freedoms that we're all supposed to have in this country. That they were fun while they lasted. They're gone now, but you know, so I can't let you off the hook. I can't let you off the hook. But the rest of them, they can go fuck themselves. The ones that were just like, yeah, he's a racist like me, so I'm going to follow him. Fuck them.
And
Here,
there's this couple that went to Alligator Alcatraz and was taking selfies in front of
mm,
the
Yeah,
people.
those are pieces of
yeah.
shit. What were we going to say, Jessica?
My thing is, personally, I have absolutely, even for the ones who were, conned and too dumb or just didn't take the time to do the reading and do their homework, I have zero sympathy for them. I don't feel bad for them at all. There's not a single Trump supporter, regardless of whatever reason they chose to vote for him, there's not a single one that I feel sorry for, and I hope that they all live by the consequences of their actions. I hope that they all feel it. The rest of us have to fucking live with it, and even those of us who, aren't necessarily too bad off, but still have empathy for those who are, and, still try to do our part to help. If we have this pain put in our face every single day, you should at least have to live with the taste of it too, because you helped bring it about. I have no sympathy for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I can't say that I forgive any of them an iota. I don't. I don't. I hope every single one of them has to live with it. I don't think that they should ever be able to say, "Oh well, I voted for him, but I regret it now." I don't care. I don't care, because all that's going to happen is the next election cycle is going to come around and they're going to continue to vote red, and they're going to
Mm-hmm.
continue to vote for the people who want to continue to oppress others and take away the rights of others. And it doesn't mean shit. I want you to go out there. I want every single one of them who voted for Trump and say that they regret it to eat their fucking words, shut the fuck up, and take all of the abuse that comes their way without getting offended and being little crybabies about it and saying, oh, but people are so mean to me, but I'm walking away from it, because I see a lot of those videos. I don't give a shit. Take it. Take it like you wanted all liberals to take it by casting your vote. Go out there and actually do your fucking part. Go volunteer at local food pantries like I am. Go out there and find Black and Indigenous owned small businesses and support them. Go out there and find minority run charities and organizations and donate to them. Eat your fucking words and do your due diligence to actually make up for it, instead of just getting on the internet and saying, oh, but I regret it now. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Sorry.
No, I agree 100%. And you can't respect rats for leaving a sinking ship, because they're just engaging in self-preservation.
Yeah, they're still ratones.
I kind of feel Jessica's going to be my spirit animal here in a second, but she's not an animal. Well,
Oh, it's okay, darling. I'm plenty animal. You can call me that.
She says,
She's speaking my language, man.
yeah, she says what I want to say, but much more cutting, much more cutting. I feel that way about Joe Rogan. Exactly what Jessica said.
Ugh.
I feel I'm just so tired of this mealy mouth, sort of middle of the road. I'm unhappy with this. I'm unhappy with that. But then all of a sudden, you show up in the White House and the Oval Office behind him, basically glad handing.
Well,
And
you skipped two very important steps in that. You're not wrong, but first of all, Joe Rogan said he would never have him on his show. And he said specifically, because I don't want to help him, because he understood that the popularity of his show would make it so that any association with Rogan would add popularity to this guy. So he tacitly acknowledged that fact by saying, I don't want to help him. And then 2 years later, he did exactly that. He had the guy on his show, and Joe Rogan's audience alone, even if you just take 5% of his audience size or 10% of his audience size, would have been enough to cover the gap between the votes that Harris got and the votes that he got. So then he showed up at the White House. So you can't pretend to be a fence sitter the way Rogan does. Oh, I'm not taking sides. Yes, you fucking are. You helped this guy get into the White House, and you lie constantly. I don't know what the fuck happened to Rogan. He's always been kind of a dumb gym bro kind of guy, but at least he tried to be smart. He tried to find facts. That's what his producer does. Very often his producer fact checks him in real time. But he said something so outrageous recently. He turned to one of his guests and he was like, do you know that of all these school, violence incidents that we've had, all of them have been trans individuals? And it's like, no, that's not even close to being true. If you look at like the last 20 years of the history of these types of incidents, I think it's like 3 or 4 were trans and like hundreds were, straight people, cisgendered people.
Was he trying to be humorous?
No, not at all. He was speaking quietly, not making any jokes. He was passing it off as if it were real information. And he does that all the time.
Yeah, specifically straight white men who most often are considered conservative. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, overwhelmingly conservative.
But the radical left lunatics and their political violence, right? We're such a fucking problem. Ever since Charlie got turned into a Pez dispenser, now they want to start talking about, oh my gosh, they're so violent, all because we said we weren't fucking sad about it.
Yeah, and then when what's his face? Oh God, the guy who played Meathead on All in the Family. Rob Reiner. When Rob Reiner caught it, he was like, "Oh, because he's a lunatic and this and that." And then when Mueller, when Robert Mueller passed away, he's like, "I'm glad," but you don't hear the right saying anything about that stuff. They're the worst fucking hypocrites. Ugh.
And which one was it? It was either Eric or Don Jr. that after that incident happened in Pelosi's home, where her husband was assaulted violently, he was like, "Oh, found out my new Halloween costume." Yeah, that whole bullshit.
Yeah, that was Rocket Man Don Jr.
Right. They cheer for this political the very rhetoric of the president himself.
They encourage it. They literally encourage it. They facilitate it. This thing, stochastic Tierism, guarantees that you will get people to act on your behalf. You will commit violence by proxy. If you constantly say, they're evil, they're wrong, they're coming for you, they're taking things away from you, they're hurting you, they're vermin, all this shit. If you keep saying that shit, one of these mouth breathers is going to go, I got to do something about it. God, my bullets.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Yoddah. You know, it's funny. It seems to be, the right seems to be the main people that are most moved by stochastic influences, by stochastic overtures.
That's only because the right is the only one that engages in it. The left doesn't do it.
But honestly, you look at what we've been saying about Trump and what we've been saying about MAGA, all right? Okay? Because some of us have been really searing on here, including myself, yourself. I've gone into MAGA and certain people on the right with a venom that I look back at some of my videos. I'm like, well, damn, dude, you were like hot, right? But nobody on the left goes out there to try to do anything to these people that we're talking about. It's not even close.
First of all, that's not a fair comparison because we are not in positions of power. Stochastic Tierism only occurs when people are in positions of power and influence, okay? And the fact is that I challenge anybody to find a Democratic politician or even a Democratic influencer, even though the concept of influencer is so fucking goofy to me, but let's use it, right? Tell me anybody in that camp who speaks the way that the prominent, influential people on the right speak. You won't find it. There is no corollary.
You're right.
Like you got who was it? Fucking Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz talking about annihilating the people in the Middle East. Like, come on, man.
Who talks like that?
It's horrifying.
Cancun Cruz.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this man leaves for Cancun or for some tropical vacation every time the people in his state are at risk of unaliving from severe weather. He doesn't even care about the people who he's supposed to be representing. Are we surprised that he's going to give a shit about people who just happen to be unlucky enough to be born in the wrong country?
Right. Yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. But this is not some fucking fat bald guy with a Coach Yoddah t-shirt talking shit. I have 11 people in this fucking room. I have no influence, and I'm not egotistical enough. I have an ego, but I'm not egotistical enough to think that I have influence over anybody. Okay. Well, you're talking about what is Cruz? Isn't he like a senator? Right?
Yeah.
This is a fucking U.S. senator who has access to mass communication. He has a podcast that gets viewership, and he can step in front of cameras and microphones and say the most outrageous shit. That's crazy. That's crazy for a guy to talk like that in his position.
And Lindsey Graham, what the fuck
Yeah.
happened to that dude? Oh my God.
The same
I
thing
was
that
like,
happened to
what
the
the
entire
hell?
Republican Party. Look, you can see videos of Graham in 2015 eviscerating Dump for what a piece of garbage he thought he was, and now he's just sucking on that sack full time. Of course, in Lindsay's case, that's part of the program, but God
I
bless
mean,
him.
the vote the more I look at how this Voting Rights Act where they came down, because I've been following it from since. I mean, I went back and did some research from since Shelby versus Holder, right? When the whole thing started,
Oh
the
my
whole
God!
tumble.
Hold that thought, please. Again, Damien Onken, but Pelosi can trade stocks knowing what's coming. Who the fuck was talking about that? Why do you people, you numbskulls, come into my live when no one has talked about Nancy Pelosi trading stocks and condoning it? Like, what is your fucking damage? Why can't you people have normal fucking discourse? No, we don't agree with
PSA.
Pelosi doing that. You donut?
Yeah,
I
PSA.
think
We don't
We're not
like that
talking
hoe
about
either.
that right now. We're not talking
I'm
about that
sorry,
right now.
Island Boy, I cut you off. Please continue.
No, that's all fine. But I'm saying the Voting Rights Act thing. When I went back and I compiled it. I have a spreadsheet with all that stuff compiled, and I'm showing how it connects to Project 2025. And I have a bunch of I may do some content on it sometime. I'm not sure when I'm gonna do it, but it's like a lot of heavy, complex shit. And the fact that there's a proliferation of states that are doing shit that are doing stuff like right now, not even a week after the ruling, and they're trying to do shit like Tennessee, even the same state, Louisiana, Florida, all of them are trying to do mess up things. I'm just like, wow, you know?
They can't just let us live, man. They just
No,
have
they
never
won't.
been able to let black and brown people just fucking live. We just want to feed our family like everybody else. We want to love who we love like everybody else. We just want to get along in life like everybody else. Why the fuck are these people so obsessed with harming us when we didn't want to be here to fucking begin with?
And you know that guy Randy that's going viral now. His clip, that clip from his where he responded to this guy's comment, where he's basically saying the only reason all of these laws exist, right? Because we have to put down on paper, like telling white people, "Hey,
Yeah, stop
don't be
being
an asshole."
assholes. Yeah.
Don't be. We have to put
Yeah.
it down on paper, not to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And I just did a video on my other account where I went into the fact that I tied into the fact that because Lee Atwater gave up the goods in terms of what the strategy was, because Lee Atwater came out in 1981 with that interview, right? Um, gave up the goods about what their strategy is going to be, basically to try and undermine the Civil Rights Act that was passed like 20 years ago, right? A case that came about like 5 years later, I forgot the Supreme Court case that attached disparate impact to the Voting Rights Act. The judges, I think, were referencing Lee Atwater and some other Republicans that said that were so smug about it, to saying, well, okay, we know you're not going to overtly say that you're doing it because you want to stop the black folks. We know you're going to be abstract. We know you're going to be abstract and say all the most inane things. But we know, based on what Lee Atwater said, the end result you're going to harm black people. The disparate results. We don't worry about what you say. We worry about what the effect is, the end result is, right?
I mean, it's
And the
so
right
obvious
wing,
that you can't. It's
but then
it's
these
so
people.
ridiculous for these YT folks to deny that. The ones that do deny this shit. I mean, look at the voting history in America. Look at like even going back to FDR, right? FDR was a fucking racist. I reference this time all the time, but I normally don't talk about that aspect of it. But the GI Bill, well, only for white soldiers. The VHA loans only for white people, and so on and so forth. It was just always baked into the system and the structure and the culture of America to keep black and brown people disenfranchised. And it continues unabated today. So the next
We can't
motherfucker that
have.
wants to tell me to get over it, it's like, how about you stop doing it and give me a chance to get over it?
It's like like they've been unaliving us for every single thing we try to do. Like every single thing we try to do that they do, they've been unaliving us for it. We
Yeah.
try to walk in the park, we get unalive. We try to jog down
How about
our
fighting their
neighborhood.
wars? After
Yeah.
World War One,
Oh my
black
God, the Red
soldiers were
Summer.
being pulled
Read
off
that book,
buses
y'all.
and being strung up. After
Yeah.
they defended this fucking piece of shit country.
hmm Oh, we in a park. Oh, you're unalive. Running down the street, you're unalive. Walking down the street, you're unalive. We're trying to go vote, you're unalive. We're trying to send your kids to the same school that's in our same district. Oh, they unalive us. They don't want us
Well,
in the
they
same
they all
school.
they all
I mean,
broke the
it is
same law.
insane.
They broke the same law, which is LWB, living while black.
It's insane, and it's like, and then then Alito's gonna talk about Alito and that freaking Clarence Thomas. Oh my God, gonna freaking talk about. Oh well, this thing can't last forever. This thing can't last forever, and that was never
You know
part of the
what? I
law.
cannot wait because they don't need his vote to pass this. I cannot wait till the 5 other justices go after Loving v. Virginia. So that's just so they can remind Clarence Uncle Thomas of who the fuck he is.
This guy, he's oh my God, he's ridiculous. And the other thing about it is, right, as I mentioned in my video, the man is Gullah Geechee. The man didn't learn to speak English until 7 fucking years old. He was speaking a Gullah Geechee dialect up to 7 years old. He could barely be understood.
Yeah, for
Right?
those
And
folks,
I mean, come on, man.
hold your rant for a second. For those folks who don't know what Gullah Geechee is, that's I think the islands off of what Carolinas. Is that where they are?
Islands off, I think South Carolina,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
especially.
they speak the Gullah Geechee language, which is like a French Jamaican kind of thing.
Yeah, they have the dialect sounds very familiar to sounds very similar to a very strong Jamaican accent, but with some French inflections and French
Yeah.
accents in there, and the culture is very similar to Caribbean culture as well. I recognize it instantaneously.
Yeah.
Being from the Caribbean, I recognize it. It's very
hmm
similar. The food, how they prepare their food.
Your sound just dropped out suddenly. I put up a photo of an Oreo cookie and put Clarence's face in the middle of it because that's what he's like to me. He's black on the outside and white on the inside.
How fucking dare you insult Oreos that way,
Yeah, they
Yoda?
are delicious. I know, but
Yeah.
so let's start
It's
to
a double
wrap this
stuffed
thing up.
Oreo. It's
Uh,
actually a double stuffed Oreo, to be honest with you.
let's wrap things up. What are your final thoughts, Silent Boy?
Um, we've been grounded in history. We are at the end of our second Reconstruction as black people in this country. And we're entering a second nadir. That's my thoughts on this right now. I've no other people, but I'm saying so. We are at the end of our second Reconstruction, and there are people alive today, still alive today, who were born prior to them having rights and are now going into their sunset years and watching their rights be taken away again within their fucking lifetimes. And white people are running around this place acting like, oh no, no, you can't say all, not all, not all. But when the fuck have you not allers? When the fuck have you good rattlesnakes that didn't want to bite, as Mama Muhammad Ali talked about? When the fuck do you guys make your presence felt? When the fuck do you come out and form a bulwark and stop this shit? When? Anyway, let me shut up. I'm done.
All right.
So
Well, thank
freaking
you for
livid right
joining
now.
us. Have a great night as always. All right,
Thank you.
Damon, final thoughts for the evening. Unmute yourself and fire away.
Lots of thoughts, but final one I find interesting, and I'm going to be watching the coming weeks. Trump seemed to have kind of reignited his fight against the Pope, and he got his hand slapped a couple weeks ago. He did it, and then he brought it back, revived it this week. So I am interested in that, what he's trying to do, and what it looks like to me. And I look forward to another conversation where we can kind of flesh that out.
Well, you know, my very oversimplified, overarching thought about dumping the Pope is I don't give a fuck at all. Because my attitude is fuck the Pope. The Pope is meaningless to me. I don't even understand the need for a Pope. I don't see anything that justifies his existence to begin with. Why are they setting up a quasi-military hierarchy for the Catholic Church? What's that about? You know, and what it's used for mainly is making sure that pedo priests don't get caught. So they can all go fuck themselves. I don't care. But it does make interesting conversation now and again, especially because America is predominantly Catholic, and their reverence for this guy is hilarious to me. Like, he's just a dude. He's just a regular dude that got fluffed up because he learned to play the political game of the Catholic system, and now he has influence for no fucking reason. But anything else?
That's it. That's it. I
All
see a
right.
little. I was listening to you, but I see a little more nefarious reason. But we'll talk about it later.
Well, give me the nefarious reason. Go ahead.
I'm wondering. I've believed for a while that we are dealing and have dealt with and are seeing a modern day insurgency in America, and I think what he's doing is coalescing troops. He's coalescing troops uh, that will be like his holy war. He wants people that are anti-church or anti what the church produces, like you just said, how popular it is in America. And I think he's trying to rally a much larger January 6th coalition, and they will not be loyal to a particular person or institution, but loyal to his Trumpism.
Anything's
Yeah.
possible. We'll see. All right. Good stuff. Thanks so much for coming by, as always. All right. Jessica, final thoughts for the evening, please.
Primarily fronting with rage, it's just I'm to the point where it's just my state of being at this point. But I would say over the next coming weeks, based on the trends that I'm seeing, as all of these primaries are happening and all of people are ramping up for midterms come this fall, is that there seems to be a bit of a resurgence in Trumpism. Yes, we also have the inverse of that with having seats flip blue. But just remain diligent and understand that from this point on, it is not going to get easier. So whatever reckoning you have to do within yourself, if you truly care about this shit, if you truly care about the future of this country, if you truly care about the rights of others and the well-being of others, prepare yourself. Do whatever you have to do to reckon it within yourself. that it is going to get worse. It is going to get more difficult from here on out, at least until after midterms. And so take the good moments when they come. When we see that a seat has flipped blue, have that little moment of, of joy and hopefulness, but don't let it lull you into complacency. Be aware, be constantly researching, keep an eye on what is truly going on. If you have to take breaks or if your mental health just can't really stand it, that's understandable. But if you have to unplug from the news for a while, help out your communities in other ways. Go help out your local food pantries. Go help out your local charities. Do whatever you can to help in any way that you can.
Excellent points. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck Trump. Fuck Israel. Free Palestine.
Excellent. Thanks so much. All right, Danny, last man standing, and you're unmuted and ready to rock. What is on your mind for the final thought of the evening?
Well, I'm still not calmed down. Everybody made some great points, and of course we had the lowest of the lowest in chat today as usual. So, but I have decided to break a cardinal rule for me tomorrow. If I decide to go live, it's going to be a political live tomorrow. If I don't go live, then I just couldn't stomach talking about this piece of shit. So, but
So
I am going to
why?
probably
So
talk
it's
gas.
either politics or nothing. You're not going to play music otherwise.
That's right. No,
Interesting.
no,
Okay.
not the
So
politics.
what's motivating you to talk about politics again?
$6.10 for a gallon of gas on the west side of Olympia, Washington.
Gotcha.
That's insane. And this is just in May. Normally it doesn't hit till right after Memorial Day weekend is when it jumps. Well, it's never jumped this dramatically. But anyway, that's another point. But there, I want to see who's going to come up and try to defend what this is all about. I'm sure there're going to be some knuckle dragging, mouth breathing, no good SOBs try to come in and do this. But I think I need to vent. And I need some frustration venting.
All right.
So
Well,
and
I'll be there if you
Jessica,
decide to go up.
Jessica, we will need you tomorrow as a mod because I got a feeling you're gonna be bouncing a lot of mouth breathing knuckle draggers while you're there. So
You know, I applaud that decision because otherwise you're just left with the frustration, and it's like farts and burps, better out than in. You know,
yeah,
and it is really it's very much like what Jessica was alluding to with mental health. You've got to take care of yourself. Like I've joked about it, but it was only half a joke that this is free therapy for me. I get because I get frustrated like everybody else. I'm sitting here going, this country was already a piece of shit in my mind, and now it's gone to total just a mountain of shit is what America has turned into. And, you know, I realized something earlier when that idiot came up and I was like, well, I'm doing great under Dump. It's like, yeah, because the people that aren't doing great under Dump don't have time to be on TikTok. They're suffering. They're stressed. They're working 2, 3, 4 jobs. They're doing as much as they can and spinning as many plates as they can just to get through their day. So great. You're doing great if that's even true. I'll take your word for it. You're doing great under Dump. But what kind of loathsome piece of shit are you not to recognize that there's a wide swath of people in America that are simply suffering? I don't know exactly where the cutoff is for income, But I know that in order to feel somewhat comfortable in America right now, especially if you're living in, quote unquote, the major metropolitan areas, you're looking at 200 grand a year minimum. And I know that because I know people that make that kind of money, and I know how hard they're having it right now. So for someone just making a regular average income in America, it's a real fucking struggle. And so these people that are just like, yeah, I'm fine, so who cares? Like, fuck you. Like, stop being a callous, selfish asshole, which, if you're callous and selfish, chances are you're not going to be able to stop yourself. But, that's the problem in America. There's just too many uncaring motherfuckers out here with no sense of empathy, no sense of the Christianity that they proclaim to have. It's sad. It's sad, it's pathetic, and it's frustrating, and it's harming everyone. It's harming children. It's harming young people. It's harming people in their early 20s and 30s and 40s, and then people that are facing retirement. There's a lot of people that thought that they were going to be able to retire, and that's gone now. They've worked 30, 40, 50 years hoping that one day they could get a piece of the American dream that was always promised to them, and they now see that shit has been pulled out from under them. That's a goddamn shame, man.
Yeah, if they're planning on with a lot of them, I know that are even thinking about retiring, ain't gonna. Let me tell you, it's not what it's cracked up to be. I am a person that's been retired since 2009, and we are barely surviving at this point on a fixed income. And this month has probably been the worst month where I actually, for the first time in over since I retired, I had to dip deeper into my reserve just to just take care of this month. And I don't know how
That's a
many
fucking
months I got.
crime. That's a
I
fucking
don't know how
crime,
many months
honestly.
I got left to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Like for me, it's like, look, I didn't make the sacrifices that you made. You got your body broken. You saw horrible things in battle, and the fact that America has not taken care of you in your old age, for lack of a better way to describe it, is a
That's
fucking
it. Yeah.
crime. It's a fucking crime. And you're one of millions. That's the
Oh
thing
yeah.
that's the biggest crimes. Like we live in a country where the elite people that own and run this country don't give a fuck about us. And we're the ones that made their wealth possible. It's a
Yeah.
crazy fucking situation, man.
Yeah. Well, they're takers. They're not givers. That's a pure fact. And all they do is take from us and expect us to pay everything else. And my frustration had been built up for several months now because I haven't been arguing, I haven't been stating the case, and if I don't speak out, I'm going to explode. So I'm going to speak out.
Well,
That's my
just so
plan
you know,
tomorrow.
Island Boy has sent you a bunch of gifts. So thank you, Island Boy, for sending those gifts to Danny.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Island Boy.
Yeah.
So
Well,
anyway,
listen, man, for your sake, just so you can get this stuff out, and of course, you know what's best for you. If you decide not to do it, you know that I love you and support you no matter what. But I really hope that you take the opportunity to follow your instincts, get on live tomorrow, and let these pieces of shit understand what this country is really about. Because it ain't about the propaganda. It ain't about the 4th of July. It ain't about mom and apple pie. It's about grift and greed and soulless cunts that are harming the vast majority of America. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you for everybody on the panel. You know I love you. You know you're rock stars to me, and I wouldn't enjoy this as much as I do without you. I can say that with no equivocation. So thank you for being here. Danny, you're my brother. I always appreciate that you take the time to be here, even when things aren't going well or things are tough for you. Believe me, that is not lost on me, that you're still willing to support me in this. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, and I really appreciate the love and support that you give me, even though I know some of my music is driving you frickin' bonkers. Especially Sunday, I get to see you climbing the walls a few times. But
Hey
anyway,
man,
that's another
anything
story.
for you, my friend, anything for you. So with that, folks, I'm here Monday through Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern time, unless I'm not. And with that, peace, love, and granola. Talk to you soon.